Grimes' final episode of The Walking Dead is come and gone. We're all left with a lot of questions. We are live right now for After the Dead. We have our special guest, director of tonight's episode, Greg Nicotero. We're going to break it all down. We're going to talk about the future of The Walking Dead and more. I'm Brandon Davis. You're watching After the Dead live from Nic Norman's. Hello, everybody. Welcome to After the Dead. Thank you for joining us. I'm Brandon Davis. My co-host, Janelle Wheeler, is here.
Hey, everybody.
And, of course, our very special guest tonight, director, executive producer, genius behind all of those zombies you see every Sunday night, Greg Nicotero. Thank you for joining us, Greg. Look, I have to ask you one important question, man. What the hell? What just happened?
I'm just glad it's finally out there. I mean, you know, we shot that at the end of June, and you know, I'm proud of the episode. It's amazing to watch it, especially with you guys, because I love hearing everybody cheer and clap, and they got the right moments that we really wanted them to get. So thanks, guys.
I mean, seriously, what an emotional roller coaster that was, because it was, you could hear a pin drop in here during the commercial break where he blew that bridge. And then when we come back and Jadis has the helicopter, it was like, I don't know, we're in Georgia, the Falcons just won the Super Bowl or something, and everybody just lost their mind. It was really cool.
Yeah, listen, I mean, all the actors did a magnificent job. I mean, that's one of the things, you know, there's been so much talk about Andy's last episode, but, you know, Denai, Lauren, Jeffrey, Pollyanna, I mean, every single actor really just took it to another place. I think, I don't know, it's just everything lined up, and it really was something to watch. I love the scene with Denai and Lauren. Just there's so much power between the two of them that there's a lot going on in this episode.
Yeah, we are going to have to talk a lot about Jeffrey, Lauren, Denai's work in tonight's episode. This was Rick Grimes' final episode, but they got to have a scene that really felt like it almost stole the episode. But I want to talk about it in a couple minutes. First, we have to talk about Rick. Open-ended fate. Talk to me about that decision.
Well, you know, it's how do you kill Rick Grimes, you know? It's just, he really, I mean, no, I'm getting emails already going, wait, he didn't die? I'm like, guys, sorry.
From John.
Yeah, somebody named John, who I evidently gave my phone number to text me about the episode, I don't know. But no, it's just, you know, it was one of those things where, you know, Andy's decision to leave the show was so much personal and not about the show or the content. And, you know, this season, Angela really has done an amazing job of like sort of crafting these stories that really sort of grounded the show back the way the show played in season 2, season 3, and everybody really loved it. You know, I mean, we felt like we were all sort of getting our groove back, and Andy was like, "Man, this is the show I want to be making," and now I gotta go.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, do you?
Well, it seems like you left it kind of open. Do you have anything planned for the future? Will we ever learn Rick's fate?
Well, listen, I mean, honestly, those conversations obviously started a long time ago, and I think for us, we really were just focusing on trying to tell the best, you know, trying to tell the best story that we could. And, you know, Andy was in it. You know, every episode that I've ever directed, the script comes in and Andy comes over and we read the script together. And we go through it and, you know, he plays himself and I read all the other parts. You know, so I'm a great Maggie, by the way, if anyone was really curious. So in this particular episode, you know, we really wanted to make sure that we fine-tuned the story so that it gave us an episode that really respected the fan and respected the show. So many callbacks.
I love that. That's actually where I was going to go, because you said Andy was talking about how this started to feel like the classic show. And I mean, it outright was the classic show in a lot of ways tonight. Janelle was talking about this before the show. You were kind of geeking out about some of the people who came back.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm always looking for Lori and Carl, but I didn't see them there. Any reason why?
Well, you know, we had in the field of the dead, there was a lot of bodies there, and actually at one point we had the dummy of Chandler that we had made from season 6.
I've seen that thing.
So we put it in the field, and there was you know, Cudlitz was in there. You can't really see because they dissolved across a lot of them. But you know, recreating that comic book cover, you know, just it really was just really paying tribute to the heart of the show.
And what about the return for Scott Wilson as Herschel? Because and we lost Scott Wilson recently, and that's just such a tragic loss because he was such a beautiful soul and a tremendous actor and a huge part of this family. But that scene was so moving.
That was my favorite scene in the episode.
It was beautiful.
You know, it's interesting because when we talked about the episode and which characters would come back and which ones wouldn't come back for cameos, you know, I had just been at a convention with Scott in Australia, and we spent a lot of time together, and I just kept pushing for Herschel. And I kept saying, you know, Scott, it's funny because there was an episode earlier where they're reading The Wizard of Oz. And when Andy and I were looking at the script, and he's like, it's, you know, it's the Cowardly Lion, the Tin Man, and of course, and the Scarecrow. So if you really think about this, it's the three people that have something to say to Rick. So with Shane, and who of course is the courage, and Scott Wilson was the heart, and Sonequa was the intellect. So we ended up, you know, sort of subconsciously mirroring that. So for me, I really always wanted it to be Scott, and I had even sort of sent him a note and said, hey, what do you think, man? And the day he came to set, when he walked on set and everybody clapped, and I pulled Andy aside, and I'm like, this is what the show is. Scott Wilson, and that feeling reminded all of us of the heart of the show. And when I found out that Scott was sick, because none of us knew he was sick then, I found out about 2 weeks later. And I went to see him in the hospital in Los Angeles, and I took my iPhone with the scene, and I showed it to him. And he was like, it brought tears to my eyes.
Wow.
He was so proud. And then I kept trying to leave, and he kept making me show it to him over and over again. So he watched it like 6 times. He was so excited about it. And it, you know, I'm really just, I don't even know how to express how grateful I was to be able to share that with him, and for all of us to share Scott. And he so eloquently preserves and shows everything about what we love about The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I mean, I round of applause for that because I love Scott Wilson for that scene. It was beautiful. A fourth cameo, I don't know if everybody here or anybody watching at home caught this, was you, sir. I did see you. It was in there. You're on the right of the screen. Did anybody see Greg in tonight's episode?
I thought they cut it out. I actually yelled at my editor because I thought he edited me out. I was like, damn it. Well, you know, the funny thing is, you know, okay, so obviously The Field of the Dead is a tribute to one of the variant covers from issue 100. Right. So over at the studio, we all have little plaques with our names on it. And my plaque is that shot. And I got that plaque 4 years ago. So I'm standing in my office one day going, okay, that's weird. So when we did that shot, it was a beautiful, you know, we had about 150 people lying on a blue screen stage. We had this big giant Technocrane, and the crane went up, and you know, visual effects did an amazing job of extending it. You know, as soon as we shot that shot, I put like a cloudy, dark, foreboding clouds in the background, and we extended it. You know, I mean, that's one advantage of me having an effects background is I can previs stuff pretty quickly. But you know, Dwayne Manwiller, our director of photography, and Jeff Shane, production designer, everybody. I mean, listen, this was a massive group effort. And the funniest thing is, aside from The Field of the Dead, when you see Rick going through Atlanta, there's a shot of the horse coming around the bus. And I was like, wait a minute, I remember when we shot the pilot, we pulled the dailies from the pilot, and we found like one section of about 8 seconds after they had said cut, before they turned the camera off. And we took that frame, and then we put Andy into it.
Wow.
So we were actually able to use footage from the original pilot, so we didn't have to recreate everything in the streets of Atlanta.
You guys did such a great job.
And Herschel's farm, you know, I remember shooting all the time lapse. So I'm like, wait, we have this, we have this. So we were pulling from past seasons to really make sure that the
prison. I didn't see the prison.
Yeah.
But I thought this was
back and recut it.
Yeah, go give us another. No, this was a brilliant episode.
Oh
we're gonna continue talking about tonight's episode, but first we have something really, really cool we want to share with everybody. Andrew Lincoln, if you're watching, this is for you because some of your former co-stars and current co-stars contributed to a video to pay respects to you, to tell you how much they love you. Check this out.
Brother Andy, hey Lincoln, my man, we started it together. You're about to finish it. It's Been a great run, brother. I love you. I love everything that you brought to the character. Rick will forever be in my heart just as much as A. Lincoln.
Hey, this is my message to Andy. It's David here. Let's get some golf in soon.
Andrew, your love and kindness has never gone unnoticed, and you are definitely going to be missed on the show.
But I'm getting emotional right now, so I'm gonna shut it down. But again, I love you, I love your family, everything that you're about, everything that you brought to the character, Rick, and may he forever live on.
Andrew Lincoln, you are one of the most generous actors I've had the pleasure of working with, and let's link up again soon, bro.
Andy, I just want to say, I love you, man. From the first moment I met you at base camp at Alexandria, you were so great to me. Through one of those moments where you were still in character as Rick, cussing about how stupid Spencer was, and Denise was standing there going, but really, in a really real way, I just want to tell you that you absolutely changed my life, and I'm a better man because of you, and I wish all the best for you, man.
Hey Andy, how's it going, buddy? Wow, I can't believe this incredible 9-year journey is coming to a close, man. From the very first moment I worked with you back in season 1 to Morales' epic but short-lived return back in season 8. Your sheer talent, your professionalism, your consistent generosity of spirit have always been an inspiration to me. You have left an indelible impression on my life and on the lives of everyone lucky enough to call themselves a member of this Walking Dead family. Continued blessings and best of luck in whatever adventures await you next, my friend.
Hey Andrew, it's Lou Temple Axel from season 3. Buddy, the things you've done, amazing, and so proud to have been part of your journey and your legacy. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
What's up, Andy? It's Seth. I miss you, man. Where are you? I miss you. That's all I'm going to say on this video, because I miss you. I miss you, and I'm angry with you. I'm angry at you for leaving me. I feel like you left me personally. So you, Andy. Actually, go yourself. I love you.
You're an actor's actor and a gentleman's gentleman, and I thank you, and I love you for what you've done for this world. So good on you, friend, and continue to fly high.
Hey everyone, it's everyone's favorite dumpster diver, Michael Tenor, played Nicholas. I just want to say Andy is one of the best leads of a show I've ever experienced, and I just don't understand how all those years no one ever knew you performed every scene without wearing your pants. It's an amazing accomplishment, sir. I hope you enjoy your nudist lifestyle, and peace be with you.
Hey Andy, congratulations on the great run, and by the way, thank you for leaving me behind and then shooting me in the head. I really appreciate that.
Hey Andy, sorry you died, but hope you have a good minute.
Hey Andy, just wanted to say congratulations on finishing your run. As one who has gone before you in this, I can tell you I've gotten quite past the show. I've moved on to many other interesting things that I've been doing, other pursuits, and I wish that for you as well. So anytime you get a chance to stop by, feel free. I'd love to see you here in the Hudson Valley, and good luck with it all.
Huge thank you to every member of the Walking Dead family who submitted to that video. If you want to see it, we will release it just standalone outside of tonight's episode. I hope you share it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. But we're back to After the Dead here at Nic Norman's with director of tonight's episode, executive producer of The Walking Dead, Greg Nicotero. One thing I want to talk about before we talk about Maggie and Negan's scene and Michonne and Maggie's scene is the time jump at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Everybody was expecting Rick either to die or fly off, and everybody had their theory, but nobody was talking about whether we'd see a huge time jump. And this time jump is somewhat accurate to the comics, more so than the first time jump we saw this season.
Yeah.
So tell me about when you guys cooked that up and directing this little girl, Kaylee Presley, who is now Judith, much older.
Yeah, Kaylee is unbelievable. Listen, I mean, we wanted to be able to tell the audience that a tremendous amount of time has passed. So, like, we kept the camera locked off in that field, and then you just see the barn sort of collapse and all the trees grow. And then, you know, we designed that so that all of a sudden you just felt like you were in a whole different story. Then there was all these people that you didn't recognize, and they're fighting for their lives, and they're screaming, and then she shows up and provides the cover, and then she's a Judith Grimes, and picks up the hat. Like, the first time I shot with her, she was so good. I didn't have any notes for her. She's like 10 years old. She's like this She's like 4 foot tall. Like the gun is bigger than she is. You know?
I was gonna
like
say,
when
this
she has to
little
lift that
girl-
gun, the gun weighs more than she does.
It's like the size of her arm.
Yeah,
The
it's
mini
massive.
katana. That was
Yeah, she
awesome.
has a little katana
So
and the
good.
sword and the gun.
I want to know where they found that in the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Where'd you find a mini katana?
Oh, yeah, good
I don't
point.
know. I'm sure somebody,
I didn't think about
the
that.
blacksmith made it. But it was really sweet because she just walked in and did it, and I walked over and I said, I feel like I should give you a note, but you did such a great job that I didn't have anything to say. She did an awesome job.
Well, she's no rookie.
Phenomenal.
I mean,
no, I know, but she's
a lot of people might not know she was young Rey in Star Wars: The Force
Yeah.
Awakens,
Yeah.
which is really cool for her. And then to
Kaylee
go from
Cuoco.
one huge property to another.
Yeah, and honestly, just as a huge fan of the show, I didn't read the comics until I watched the show, and it's really inspiring. Like you get people that never even thought about comics and converted them into watching the show because of The Walking Dead. I am now a comic book fan.
Yay, that's
and
awesome.
So with that, because I love the show so much, what do we have in store? Like, what's going to happen for the future of the show? Because I think we're all kind of going, oh God, without Rick, what's going to happen? What's
I know,
what's
but
in
I think
store?
you got a little flavor of it right there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much great story coming up, and you know, I've done a lot of press and talked about Samantha Morton and the Whisperers, and you know, we've been teasing a lot of that in this last promo, but it really just feels like a different show, and in a good way, not in a way where we feel like there's a void that we have to fill. Part of the time jump, what that accomplishes is it gets us sort of past sort of playing everybody grieving over it, and it allows us to really jump into a sort of accelerated storyline where we don't have to feel like there's 4 stories with them grieving what they believe is the loss of Rick.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
So it really is, it's a great device to introduce these new characters, and I really love it.
Yeah, I remember watching Kari Payton, King Ezekiel on Talking Dead I think it was a few weeks ago. Someone asked him if he was nervous about Andy leaving the show, and he said that there was a moment in a script where he just went, oh, we got work to do. I'm pretty sure we all know what that moment is now. I think it was this where we see the future Magna, Yumiko, Luke, Connie, Kelly, all comic book characters, and we'll tell you all about them on the site, but while we have Greg, we have to talk about this scene. Wonderfully directed, brought out tremendous emotions from Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Lauren Cohen, and Denai Guerrera. All tremendous actors, but I mean, you really brought out the best in them. In that, you have a scene outside of the jail cell, and then you have a scene inside the jail cell, which is basically ripped from the comics much further down the line.
Yeah.
And just tell me about putting these two scenes together, because this was a Rick episode, but that scene really stands out.
Well, that story is so important. I mean, that's something that we've been building to. And, you know, I love the scene with Lauren and Denai outside the jail cell, because there's such powerful women, and there's so much to be said in their faces when you just look at them. And I like the way Matt Negretti wrote the script, because it's very simple. That was the one thing that we really worked on with the script. We wanted all these storylines to be very elegant and very simple. There wasn't a lot of, we didn't have to weave all these sort of complicated storylines together. It was very clean, very direct. So I love that scene. And then we get inside with Jeffrey. It's a completely different Negan than we've ever seen. And when I watched Jeffrey on the floor going, no, 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 I felt sorry for him. Mm-hmm. I really did. And it made me feel like how I reacted to the last episode of Breaking Bad. And I had spent so much time, you know, creating these opinions about what I thought of Walter White, and then at the whole end of it, it completely turned me around in a different direction. And that's what I liked about what Jeffrey did. And I remember Norman came and was on set with me when we were shooting that. Norman was like, damn, that was really good. Like, I mean, we're giving Jeffrey something different to do. And even the dialogue, when he's sort of poking at, I mean, he's poking at Maggie, he's egging her on. He wants her to kill him. So he's saying the most horrible things to her, not because he's being old Negan. He's saying that because he's trying to goad her into actually killing him.
That makes me so curious about what's going to happen with Negan. Like, what's the future of Negan?
I want to see redemption.
Are we going to have him
he's
like
one of my favorite
this?
characters. I think people are starting to come around. I saw a lot of heads nodding when you said people felt bad for him.
I did.
2 years ago, nobody would have felt bad for him.
I know. So it took us a while to get there. And then, of course, after Maggie decides not to kill him, and she walks out, in the original script, they had another dialogue scene. And I said to the writer, I'm like, I just want to see them look at each other. There's so much power in what's not said. So they just looked at each other, and then Diane runs over and goes, "We got a problem," and then boom, then we're into the story again.
And then with the one tear down the face, just really hits me in the feels. But I see, guys, I see the comment section right now on Facebook. I see Diane saying, "Who are these people in the helicopter?" We will address you guys with some theories. We're going to answer some of your questions in just a few minutes. But first, we actually went out with Atlanta Movie Tours to check out the bridge location where Rick went kaboom, and the place, the street corner where Rick went impale mode on a rebar. So check this out, guys. I think that tonight's episode is all about that. It's all about the bridge, all about that street corner. Can we go check that out?
I think we can.
Rick, what do you say? Carl. He's translation, yes. In the show, so Rick and Daryl rode by that way.
That way.
And so then he got bucked right there, and the way we just came. I mean, this is crazy. How did you guys identify this as the location?
The really big notice of this is the tree. You will see this tree behind him. And we always look for markers to say they had to be here because of this or a certain angle. All right, so in the scene where Rick gets impaled, it's right here. Bucked off a horse, zombies everywhere. So zombies come down that street. They come down that street. He's kind of right here with those two poles behind him with a pole sticking out of him. There's another one behind him as well. Obviously the big concrete bit isn't actually here. So this road in episode 905 is one of the many that the zombies are following Rick down.
Correct. Yeah. So these roads leading to and from the infamous impaling scene and the bridge. So this is Rick's bridge. Yep. The bridge that Rick built, the bridge that Rick so dearly did not want to tear down, and we all saw how that went. But tell me about where we are. What happened here?
Absolutely. No, this bridge played a lot, and more than just this new season.
As amazing as this is to see this bridge and everything, I feel obligated to kind of recreate the scene, right? You know, should I?
Absolutely.
I found them. Thank you so much, Carrie, for showing us around, and a big thank you to Colin. They call him Big Eye Candy at Atlanta Movie Tours. Is that true? I heard that.
That is true. Big Eye Candy of Atlanta Movie Tours, Colin.
I can see why. But seriously, thank you so much for showing us around. We've done this before. We love having you on the show.
We love it. And is that your rebar showing, or are you just happy to see me?
Listen, we're not going to get personal here. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the journey, Rick Grimes. And back to Nic and Norman's. Hey everybody, all right, we are right up to Atlanta Movie Tours for having us, and a huge thanks for Greg Nicotero, who has to be up in way too few hours to get to work on the season 9 finale of The Walking Dead. But this is the part of the show where we answer all of your questions, or as many as we can. We have a few minutes left here. First of all, a lot of people want to know who is in the helicopter. I think there's clues, and I think we'll start to get answers.
Yes.
There was an A on the helicopter, which we can throw that theory out the window, but there was a biohazard logo. Okay. If you look at it. And I think for the first time ever, we're going to start to see this title explore a possible cure.
Yeah.
I
mean, I definitely think that is one thing, but honestly, the whole helicopter talk, all I can think about is what Greg just told us. That he was shoved in that helicopter like this, trying to film that moment with Jadis and Rick, and that's all I can think about. He said he was like looking out the window and taking in the moment and like holding cameras. But yes, I do think that we are onto something. You obviously know what's going on in the comics and where we're going. Do you think
this is all kind of uncharted territory?
I mean,
Rick is still there, Carl is still there. I think Judith is starting to resemble kind of a version of Carl from the comics after tonight's time jump scene. But this Rick stuff is all uncharted. I do think we're gonna see Rick again in some form. I've heard whispers of different things behind the scenes being worked on, different developments that they're trying to lock into place.
Do you have any theory in particular?
I think he got flown away somewhere that thinks they might have a cure. will that be true? We'll see, but I think we'll start to explore that. And that's something Robert Kirkman said he never would do, and this is out of Robert Kirkman territory.
Yeah.
So it's
absolutely.
kind of up here. I see a lot of questions about A's and B's as well.
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of people asking, they thought that Rick was considered an A, but then she said he was a B. I'm kind of curious about this too. Do you have any clear vision or idea of what A and B stands for?
I thought A was like alpha or beta, like because Negan was an A.
Yes.
So he was a leader. Rick was an A.
Yeah.
He was a leader. But now he's a B. So here's another theory. Everybody she was going to deliver, she was going to give them a walker bite, a zombie bite.
Right.
Which could have meant like after or before.
So they're looking
like
for
Rick
someone
is now
who might be
before a
immune?
bite. Maybe they're looking for somebody who's immune. Maybe they're looking for somebody they could work on while the disease goes through their body. Because it's not like you're just going to find people who are willingly going to take a bite for the sake of maybe finding a cure. Maybe you force somebody to get bit, you trade them, and this group can work on them.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay, well, this brings me to my next question, and this is a really, really big question that everybody's wondering, including me.
Okay.
Oscar actually said it right in chat, it's not even a question, that there are rumors there's going to be a Rick Grimes movie. What have you heard about this?
I have heard these rumors too. I can tell you there is definitely some work going on behind the scenes to try to make a Rick Grimes movie happen. Whether it happens is still to be decided, I think. But I know that there are people talking behind the scenes at the network creatively to try to bring Andrew Lincoln back. It could be a TV movie, it could be a 90-minute TV movie, it could be a theatrical release, but I do know that they're working to try to expand the Walking Dead universe in cinematic form.
Okay, what would be like BD's dream scenario?
Oh, I want to see Rick Grimes go to like, I don't know, a city we've never been to, explore a cure,
What about
find
meet
out.
up with the Fear people?
Look, I'm a huge Victor Strand fan, I'm a huge Alicia Clark fan. I'm all for it. Bring it. I think eventually we'll see like the Walking Dead Infinity War.
Yes.
And it's gonna happen, but
And
when it
love
happens,
you.
we'll see.
Janet, thank you so much. Why no Glenn? Janet, I hear you, and I ask that same question every single time there's a throwback. Why was there no Glenn?
I do think that was a really nice way that Greg Nicotero put it earlier tonight when he compared it to the Wizard of Oz, and he said that each one represented some different part of Rick's journey.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
But look, guys, that is all we have time for. So I'm going to put the hat on, and I just want to say something about Andrew Lincoln. I know a lot of cast members know him better than I did. I know that a lot of the producers and everybody may have known him better than I did, but when I first started my job here at Comicbook.com, and I'm wearing the sheriff hat because I feel like it deserves the tribute, I did a lot of interviews. I did with different shows and different movies, but Andrew Lincoln was the first really high-profile interview I ever landed. And we talked over the phone for about 15 minutes. And before him, I'd interviewed several celebrities from The Walking Dead, several actors, several producers, and they were all so friendly and so charismatic and so warm. And that's because Andrew Lincoln set the example on the show. And then when I talked to him, the conversation ended with him saying, "Oh, I'll see you in New York for the premiere." And it was like, "No, you won't, but I appreciate the sentiment. You're a beautiful person. You're a great human being, and we all should aspire to be like you." And because of Andrew Lincoln and his work, I get to do things like I did tonight, which is just such an amazing, amazing feeling. And because of all you guys. So a huge thank you to Andrew Lincoln, the entire Walking Dead family, my co-host on After the Dead, Janelle Wheeler, Greg Nicotero for stopping by, and our entire crew behind the scenes on After the Dead. It means the world that you guys watch us every week. I hope you'll tune in next week, episode 906 of The Walking Dead. I've seen it. It's really good. And before we go out, we wanted to pay tribute to Rick Grimes with a special video of Andrew Lincoln in the role. Thank you for watching After the Dead, everybody. We'll be back next Sunday.
Was it your feet? That's okay.
Because I'm going to make it.
Never met a woman who knew how to turn off a light. Preach it to you now, boy.
Hey, mister, you even know what's going on?
I woke up today in the hospital.
The walkers. Well, I guess if this is the first you're hearing it, I know how it must sound.
Take it. People are gonna die. I'm gonna die. Mom.
There's no way you can ever be ready for it. I try to be, but I can't. Best we can do now is avoid it as long as we can, keep one step ahead. Maybe you people are better off without me. Go ahead. I say there's a place for us, but maybe it's just another pipe dream. Maybe I'm fooling myself again. Well, why don't you go and find out yourself? Send me your postcard. Go on, there's the door. You can do better. Let's see how far you get. You're staying. This isn't a democracy anymore.
You got lucky. We all did. I still think there's a plan. I still believe there's a reason.
You think it's all a test?
Life was always a test, Rick.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
I am.
You really think you're gonna take this community from us? From Glenn, from Michonne, from Daryl, from me? Do you have any idea who you're talking to?
I want to show you the new world, Carl. I want to make it a reality for you.
You're my brother. Brother, take my hand. Thing is, we were walking side by side, but you were bringing me somewhere. Bringing me here. Bringing all of us to the new world, Carl. You showed me the new world. You made it real. I see it. I remember.
All right, got it?
It's very moving. Until you look like what? Yeah! Nicotero!